Today is June 27th. We got sharp stats. We got Boone. The Yankees are coming off 2 winning series, but a lot of weird news. So let's talk all about it. Talk Yanks.
Talking Yanks with old Jomboy, Jomboy and Jake. Recaps galore, weekly awards, stat lines, theme and hot takes. Get your Yankees news from these two fine dudes. It's time for Talkin' Yanks. Talking Yanks with old Jomboy, Jomboy and Jake. Talking Yanks with old Jomboy, Jomboy and Jake.
Hello and welcome to Talkin' Yanks, brought to you by SeatGeek. My name is Jimmy. His name is Jake. We got BBD in the corner. We got a fun episode for you. We already chatted with Boone, so that happened, but it won't happen in the show. But it's good. We chatted. It was nice. Also, Jake is headed west to Seattle with a bunch of Jomboy Media crew, and we're selling tickets to our All-Star Watch Party. You get to watch with the crew, as well as other like-minded baseball fans for an amazing night watching the Midsummer Classic. The VIP tickets are already sold out, so you're not a VIP if you didn't purchase those, I believe. But you can purchase the other tickets and hang out. See Jake.
Come see us. Come, Jimmy. BBD. Jimmy, you had a baby. Hey, man. What's up, dude?
Only 9 pushes for me, so it was a breeze. Walk through it.
Yeah. If you're in Seattle for the All-Star game, come through. There's a link in the description. Yeah, I didn't know if you were going to time travel the people or not. We did just finish our interview with Boone, but we didn't know how much time we'd have with you. So yeah, excited to see you. Boone was in really good spirits. He was kind of running hot this morning. It sounded like there was a lost luggage bag that kind of sent him into Kookyville, to use a Jomboy Media term.
Some twisted words on headlines.
Yeah. How are you doing, Jimbo? Everyone's good?
We're good. Yeah, we're home. Got through the first night of sleep. It was a crazy thunderstorm.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys get that in the city or no?
I don't know.
Like crazy. I loved it. I was counting the lightning. I'm a big count the lightning and the thunder guy. And then tell everyone around me how many miles away it is.
This was last night?
Last night.
Do you have a time?
All night. It was 8 p.m. till 4 a.m. Everyone was in our bed. Baby was in the snoo, but then James was in bed, both dogs. It was shaking the house. Maybe it was just a Jersey thing.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think 2 or 3 nights ago, my mom said, I was looking at the weather. I didn't realize you guys didn't get, in the city, you didn't get this storm that hit Jersey.
Yeah, it was nuts.
So that one I know went north.
Yeah. Other than that, good. Took James to Little Gym. He did some somersaults. I got another doctor appointment coming up after this, so good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any Yankee thoughts last series? Anything you need to get off your chest?
Bader is very, very important. I wish he wasn't injury prone. He's as much of a game changer as I've seen besides Judge. I don't think the Yankees in Talkin' Yanks existence has had an offensive or position player game changer as much as Judge or as much as Bader besides Judge. Since 2017, I can't think of another single player that changes the dynamic of everything.
Interesting. Yeah,
obviously Judge is number one. But even Stanton, he's never transcended both sides of the field like this. It's unbelievable. Stealing bases, hitting sac flies when you need to hit sac flies, coming through in the clutch constantly, tracking every ball down no matter which way he has to run. I wish he wasn't injury prone because I think he's the biggest game changer, sans Judge, I've seen in the Talkin' Yanks tenure, 2017 on.
Yeah, I guess the speed is really the dynamic thing there, and maybe dynamic's the word, because when Rizzo's right, we're coming out of a stretch where we haven't seen Rizzo be good. We remember when we first saw Rizzo and we were used to Luke Voit at first base.
Rizzo is close. He doesn't have the speed.
He doesn't have the speed. I think Rizzo's bat can be a tick more special, but he just had the biggest slump of his career, so it's hard to say that right now. But yeah, Bader what Bader can do in a big center field.
The closest is 2017 Brett Gardner. That when Gardner hit 20-something homers, yeah, he was going toe-to-toe with Matt Holliday. So he had slug, speed, defense, and on base. It's crazy. I'm just very impressed with how much he changes the entire dynamic of the team. And then there's also like the sloppiness is awful. And Billy McKinney homered 5 minutes after the baby was born. So I've been calling her Billy, and they don't really like it.
Who's they in that situation?
Katie.
Yeah,
and probably
I could see
her
that.
parents.
I could see your wife and family not liking the new baby.
Well, we
they
were
agreed
joking
to.
because the game was on while she was delivering. And I
Right.
was like, hey, someone does something here, like change the name. And we
Right.
were going through the list. Not a lot of good options.
Right.
Glaber, Giancarlo.
I thought you said not good options.
Like just, you really look at it, not a lot of good options. DJ was an option. That was a good option. We were like, oh, that would work for a girl. And then I got to
Giancarlo?
Billy. What?
Giancarlo?
Well, no, you can't change it.
Why not? You can do whatever you want. It's your baby. Name it Frog.
No. And then Billy got up and I was like, that's kind of cute. And then he hit a homer. I was like, well, so maybe it's Billy.
Billie Eilish.
James can say
McKinney's
Billy,
a
can't
name.
say Claire. So it's kind of a second vote.
Okay. Well, if I get a first vote for my dog food, it's the farmer's dog. And the
We
farmer's
got a box of that.
dog. Yeah, we just re-upped. We just got a new box. Our guy Trevor Plouffe. No dog. He's playing scared, even though his whole family wants it. He'll get it soon. He'll cave. But his mother, who has a dog, just got the farmer's dog. And whether you have an older dog, middle, or a pupperooner, met a nice puppy this weekend. The farmer's dog is high-quality food that helps keep your doggo healthy, and that's kind of what it's all about, so you can have more quality time with your dog. So head to thefarmersdog.com. Get 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/Jomboy. There's a link in the description. Noodle has been going nuts for this stuff. And it's kind of cool. You fill out a little survey. They make it specially for your dog. And yeah, Noodle gets that crazy look in his eye when it gets busted out. It's got his name on the package if you like the little details in life. So, thefarmersdog.com/Jomboy, 50% off your first box.
Throw it to Sharp Stats. Oh, I might not be able to hear
Hey,
it.
fellas, it's the Queen of Stats. And yeah, we are coming off a nice series win against the Rangers this past weekend, but the offense, it still looks terrible. And I just want to highlight just a couple of statistics which I feel really sends a message about the way that this roster has been constructed and the lack of depth in the organization. Just terrible roster construction and the lack of depth in the organization. In that we keep sending out these same players at the same positions that are just can't even produce even close to a league average production. So what I did is I looked at all the defensive positions for the Yankees and their OPS plus, which is their OPS adjusted to the league average at that position. And so I looked at how many positions do the Yankees have that have an OPS plus that is below 80. So they're 20%, worse than 20% worse than league average. The Yankees have 4 of those. And then I looked at that across all teams, and that is tied for the second most defensive positions with an OPS plus below 80 in the majors, and only the Tigers and A's have more, both with 5. So that, I mean, they just can't even find a capable person to put at a defensive position that even has close to a league average bat. And then the second thing I did is I looked at just purely the number of players on the Yankees that have at least 100 plate appearances, so getting quite a bit of run, and an OPS plus, again, below 80. Believe it or not, the Yankees have 6 of those players. That is the most in the majors. And the even worse part is that if you look at the teams that are kind of right behind them with 4 and 5 of those types of players, it's the Royals, the Tigers, the A's, the White Sox, and the Rockies. You know what those teams have in common? They're either in last place in their division or they're in the AL Central. All right, talk to you guys next week.
The Yanks got a lot of bad players that they're getting a lot of run. That's what I heard.
What a nuke. Yeah.
Shots fired at the Central there.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, man. That's it's not good. It's not good. And it's as we trickle into the All-Star break, and I actually just did Wake and Jake on this because, Jim, as we've done talking baseball over the past couple years, we've seen a couple teams, these last couple weeks heading into the deadline can change the whole outlook of your season. And the Yanks are set up pretty good, right? And you allude to this with Boone a little bit, but, he kind of had to give some managerial answers that the Yankees have a road trip against two of the worst teams in baseball so far this year. Oakland, who we expected, St. Louis, who people didn't expect. That if you take care of that, you finish with a homestand. Baltimore, who's good. The Cubs, who are still fighting. But, the Yankees can wind down strong and then look at what Katie just listed. You can spin it as a positive thing of all right, it's going to be fight or flight time. DJ's either got to click. Donaldson might have to go. Volpe's either going to have to figure it out or not. And then Peraza and potentially Deadline, that if this Yankees lineup, you almost can't be as bad as they've been, knock on wood, that can be a positive thing for the second half. But yeah, it's been bleak.
What's their June record going to end up as?
Well, how do we have them finishing out these final 13 games?
There's not 13. June.
Oh, June. I was still going into the All-Star break.
So say they win
4 more games, and they're playing
right,
Oakland. So let's say 3.
Yeah, I think 3. They win Oakland, and
it gives you a
I'd
wiggle
like
one
to
way
be
or
able
the
to say
other.
3.
Yeah.
That would give them they'd be 10, 11, 12. They'd be 500. They'd be 12 and 12. Exactly 500 on the month. It's just a little crazy for how bad. It's a historically bad offense. Winning the last 2 series against Seattle and the Rangers. How is this team? How are they hanging on by a thread? We said when they went 15 and 14 in March and April, we were like, wow, to play that bad and come away from it just a game over 500 is incredible. And then in May, they have a 655 winning percentage. Is July going to be, if they can have even in August, September, I don't know how they're doing it.
It's pitching.
Credit to them.
It's pitching. I mean, that's the secret, because it's not even really the defense, right? I mean, look at that first Texas game is pretty winnable if you catch that fly ball between Volpe and IKF. And I think that's the frustrating part, is that the pitching really has been good. I mean, what the Clark Schmidt turnaround, Cole, hopefully Sevy's on the up and up, and the bullpen, has been the best in baseball. So I don't know. I don't know. It's obviously sucked, and you feel it, and I guess that makes the defensive blunders even more frustrating, and the base running, because you have to know you're not getting it offensively like you used to. But hopefully we get some sort of timeline on that Judge guy, and we're looking for our spins. The Yankees are going to have, that 2017 formula where you got a bunch of 500 months and a couple good months. Give me that good month or 2 going into the playoffs, and maybe we'll feel really good about this team going into October. But we need Judge healthy, and we need a couple other things to turn.
Yeah, there's still a lot of ifs.
Oh, so many, but I mean, that's baseball a little bit, right?
Yeah. Going back to what Katie called about the OPS. I don't have OPS plus in front of me, but I have OPS by team and position. What position do you think is the highest right now? Do you know? Do you have it? Did she say?
In a good way?
In a good way.
Position they've been the best.
There's one position where the Yankees are second highest in OPS for that position league wide?
I would guess right field.
I think
They're 25th in right field.
your right field's been bad because Judge has played sneaky very little right field.
So was Judge playing center? So him and Bader combined for center.
No, they're 19th in center. They
Center
are
would've been my
second in
guess.
DH.
How about that?
Willie Calhoun and Judge and Stanton a little bit helping
In the
at
beginning.
DH.
How about
Their
that?
next highest is 7th in the league. Having to guess here, I think this is the one that you would guess.
Have I guessed it?
Oh, so I guess not. Second base. Glaber's been good offensively.
Oh, Glaber's been good offensively. Yeah.
7th highest OPS at second base, and then it's all bad. Catcher is 27th. Third base is 27th. Right field is 25th. Shortstop is 23rd. Left field 17th. I mean, they're not even above average.
What was center? Did you say?
19th.
Yeah.
Last year. So I wanted to see last year because Judge carried them last year.
Right.
How many of these they were above average in? They were first in right field, Judge, second in center field, Judge. Judge carried two
Right.
positions. Is insane. Glaber was 4th at second base, Glaber and everyone else. And then first base was 8th. And Rizzo was having such a good year, so it's a bummer to see that drop.
Yeah, and hey, let's Rizzo's been having better at bats. Let's see him turn it around a little bit, because that's, even looking back to last year, remember the back stuff, like that was a part of his August. He was having a great year. He had I think it was 27 homers in 97 games. Like, he was on pace for like a 40 plus homer season. And then the back stuff acted up. So that's where even what I was referencing before, like Rizzo can be that impact guy. And him and Stanton have been absolutely missing. So hopefully we saw the spark get lit a little bit. You can only buy so much into a Stanton intentional walk before him, like single, but those guys have to go. And I don't know, Oakland, that should help.
That rally, that 8th inning rally was refreshing.
Right?
Volpe's double, Bader comes through, Stan gets hit, like a lot of really good shit.
Dang.
IKF brain blunder.
Yeah.
Sneaky having a bad year stealing bases. I think he's been thrown out 5 times now and successfully stolen 7. Also been picked off twice.
8 steals, 4 caught stealings.
Did that count as a caught stealing and then out on the base paths? Because before that one happened, it was 7 and 4.
I believe that went in the books as just a caught stealing. At least as of the next day, maybe they changed it.
Technically, he stole the base and then gave it up.
Right.
It didn't go to the challenge, so
Be like rounding first, you get the single, and then you come back to first. They don't take away the single. So because it was 7 and 4 when that happened.
Well, I think he steals the base and then he's out trying to not advance.
What's his out on the base paths?
I'm not great at finding that one. I'll be honest with you.
Maybe they just give it there. That's very interesting. But I'd like the sloppiness to end.
I agree.
Yeah.
Don't think it's going to.
No.
All right, throw it to Boone.
We will throw it to Bantering with Boone, and it is brought to you by Vizio. Vizio, award-winning TVs and soundbars at insane prices. 4K screens, under $500, and they're a sneaky baseball company. Vizio Watch Free Plus offers MLB Network totally for free. You can link up your MLB.TV subscription super easily. Vizio has always been the MVP of value. Vizio value. Vizio value. Vizio. Go to Vizio.com. Check out how you can elevate your viewing experience all season long. Whatever your budget or the size of your home, Vizio has you covered. The perfect TV and soundbar combo. Check out the link in the description. Let's banter.
Boone, how you doing? You're in Oakland. I'm in New Jersey. Jake and BBD are in New York. So we got 3 different areas. Are you in Oakland or are you in San Francisco?
I'm in San Francisco. We stay in San Fran and over to Oakland for the game.
Take Bart over as a team? That'd be funny. You guys should do that.
Not well, you never know. Someone may jump on there and whip over, but no, we'll be on the bus.
Marinaccio gets lost, finds himself on Bart late.
Yeah.
I can imagine that.
Little vineyard trip, wine country.
Yeah. I think some people on the traveling party with the off day yesterday got some wine country in.
That was the big Cole get, right?
Yeah, I was gonna do some wine country. I was supposed to go to Sonoma, but I had bag issues in the middle of the night when we got here, so I was up with anyway.
They lost your luggage?
Well, they didn't lose it, but they couldn't find it for a while.
Is that on the Yankees like clubby guy, or is that on whoever you flew?
No, that was on the place here. And fortunately we got good people on top of it. So I didn't want to call them in the middle of the night. Anyway,
Is that why you're a little saucy this morning? You're coming in, you're running a little hot. We also surprised you with an old friend, but you got the juice this morning.
Oh no, maybe just it was nice it was really nice having an off day yesterday. And I got up, ended up having a good breakfast, little workout, lounged around most of the day, had a nice dinner. Boom, I'm good.
Two off days in California this year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And actually, when we go to Anaheim next month, we're actually going to stay the night instead of flying back in the middle of the night after that last game and fly back on the off day in the afternoon.
How much do you look at the schedule, the teams that you guys got coming up and playing? Because as fans, we're looking at it. I mean, usually I don't. If we're in first place, I just like whatever. You're looking at us. We're not looking at you. But it is nice right now. You guys have a stretch of Oakland, St. Louis, Baltimore. Baltimore's good. So, and Cubs, but no like incredibly heavy hitters. I think there's even more after that where it's not like I don't know, Blue Jays, Rays, in division, crazy ones. And again, I'm not disrespecting Baltimore. I think they are a tough in division opponent, obviously. But do you look at that? Do you look at this stretch of Oakland, St. Louis, and be like, hey, we're on the road, but let's grab some wins here?
I look at that no matter who we're playing. So I don't maybe look at it in the same light that you do. Like I know what our schedule is going into the All-Star break, coming out of the All-Star break. It's on my wall. So I'm more in the everyday. Where are we at as a team? We're getting guys back. Trying to figure out ways to win ball games, and I don't look at it as making judgments on certain teams. We look at how do we attack this team? How do we beat this team? How do we have success against this pitcher, that lineup, whatever it may be? And that's where my focus lies. You get caught up in you thinking you're in a soft part or a hard part of your schedule, that can get you into trouble.
Well, you guys do look at the next opponent. So, that St. Louis series, Baltimore's next, that's in division. The way you use the bullpen will be altered, knowing if I can keep these guys rested and fresh for that series. We've seen this over the years with a Baltimore series coming up or a Ray series come up. So in that regard, it does alter a little bit. And I agree with that decision in a sense.
Yeah, but that's like, that's, you're talking. So we got Baltimore when we go home starting Monday for a 4-game series. So you're talking about, that's the weekend series with St. Louis. Yeah. Things, the next day or the next couple days, always on some level, especially when you're talking about interdivision opponents, factors into some things a little bit. Yeah.
We, you've been getting a lot of injury questions and updates lately, mostly about a big dude's foot. We got a couple questions that are around some different things. I want to start, and I think this is on the bright side of life. That big lefty's been thrown. Carlos Rodon. I know everyone's eyeing that first week of July. I guess because we want to ask some philosophy kind of things, because when we were eyeing this timeline, we were wondering, I guess, do you guys really value, everything needs to go well, right? The next start needs to go clean and all that. Is there something you guys value organizationally if he could get that one start in before the All-Star break to almost like check it off? You made your start as a Yankee, or I don't know. Is that important for you guys, or is it like, hey, the big fella's healthy, he could give us 75 pitches, let's just get him on the field?
Yeah. I mean, right now we're planning on him pitching before the All-Star break with us, like slotting in there. That's how it's going to line up. And then, he'd potentially be in play then again, the first game coming out of the All-Star break. So you can kind of give some other guys a blow around the All-Star break with him, being on his normal, say, 6-day schedule. So, he's excited about where he's at. Obviously, the results have been good. Watching his outing, it's one of the things I did on the off day yesterday is I went back and watched his outing. It looks good. It's free and easy. I think he's even throttling back a little bit, like saving a little gear for, when that third deck comes into play. But I know he's really encouraged, and we're encouraged by, how good it looks right now. And so probably one more here, and then he's right in there. Let's go.
And then when Sebi did this, you kind of walked us through the pitch limit and the plan. And obviously it doesn't always go to plan, but he threw, I don't think he's cracked 50 pitches yet. So in this third one, try to push him to 65. And then when he is with the team, there will be some kind of limits and still growing to full strength.
Yeah. So he threw 48 the other day, and then he actually threw 2 more in the pen to get to 50, just to get his workload to 50. So
he went to the pen and threw 2 pitches.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes. Which I'm all about, by the way. Let's get that chronic number.
What were the
there.
2 pitches?
I'm
assuming heaters.
Okay.
2 knuckleballs just to round it out.
So he was at 50. So his next time will be probably 60, maybe low 60s. And then with us, we'd be in play for 70, 75 pitches, if that next start was with us. And then you kind of incrementally 10, 12, especially when you jump up there, you don't want to go too much and put them in a situation where, another level of, stress, pitching at the big league level. And, you want to get them up to a healthy baseline to where then once you get there, usually they're in good space to just roll from there.
That'll be exciting. Excited for that. So, and that'll alter the bullpen a little bit, knowing, if Rodon's going the next day, you need innings. So are there changes there, or are we just chasing the wind in front of us full steam right now?
Yeah. I mean, at that point though, we're talking, middle end of probably at some point in that Baltimore series, Baltimore Cubs right there. And then you're coming up on the All-Star break there. I mean, if at that point he's 70, 75 pitches, if he's giving you hopefully 4 or 5 good innings there, you should be in good shape, but you never know where you are in that snapshot of time. So, there's always things that you may have to do around it, depending on what the outings around it were.
So Judge was the other big news, right? And I know you got inundated with a bunch of weird questions and quotes and all that, but I just using the Judge example as kind of a bigger organizational thing and taking it back when Luke Voigt had his injury and it was plantar fasciitis, and everyone kind of guessed it was plantar fasciitis, but you guys wouldn't say it was that. You would just kept saying foot stuff, to the point it became a cat and mouse, like Coyness with the media, and you still don't want to say what it is. You're like, no, foot stuff. And the Judge thing comes out, and we're dancing around what it is for a while. And when you say sprain, there's different elements and all that. And I understand not giving a timeline because you don't want to be wrong on it. But what's the philosophy about just kind of not saying it is what it is? If like Jazz Chisholm suffers the same injury in the same manner, and 3 days later they said Jazz has got turf toe, he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. And then the way we heard about Judge, it was kind of until he came out and said it was a tour, we didn't know it was that level of a sprain. Like, is that just protecting guys, or is that an organization decision, or the way you like handling it? Or
because we really don't have a good timeline, and I would say we still don't really.
What even on like naming the injury?
Well, I mean, it's a grade of strain, which is a tear. I mean, we get in semantics of all of it, but
well, you got to remember the Voigt stuff. It was almost a game. You guys wouldn't say what it was. I don't know if that's the player's decision or your decision.
Pardon me, I don't remember the Voigt stuff or the game, or I really don't.
Okay. I just don't know who makes that call. Like, hey,
foot stuff.
What's that?
Other than he had some foot stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Did.
Yeah. My wonder is, and you hear Cashman talk about DJ and hiding injuries, are the players just protecting themselves and not naming it, or does the coaching staff and the training staff know, but they don't say, hey, but let's not name it because then it's this, or is it the whole organization's like, let's just.
No, there's just sometimes, with medical things that there's gray areas to it. Sometimes it's cut and dry. The guy's got a grade 2 hamstring. The guy's got a grade 3 quad, whatever. And it's cut and dry, and you have a really good idea of, what that takes to heal and timelines. And, more often than not, most cases we give a timeline. We know, like, okay, this guy's shoulder, Nestor was going to be a no throw for 2 weeks. That kind of came to fruition. That's more often than not what we're giving. When there's some grayness in there, I don't like to throw out some broad guess.
I
get it.
It's fair. I think our last one that again was kind of philosophical injury stuff, which again isn't our normal lane. Harrison Bader, the first game of the series against Texas, he sits. He comes in, he pinch hits later in that game. And, the story of baseball a little bit, and you understand us as fans, like that the ball drops between IKF and Volpe. It's a tough play for them. And when you have arguably the best center fielder in baseball in Bader on the bench, I guess for us, and we've seen this with Stanton a little bit, and now with Bader, like, I don't know. I'm 33 now. I look 14. We've covered that. But if I need to fire it up, I'd rather have the 2 hours to fire it up pregame than be like, all right, you're pinch hitting in the 8th. Is there something? I know you guys would ideally love to give Harrison Bader the full day off, but if he's in play, which he was, I don't know. I guess, do we need to do less mental hurdles than to think about it like we're trying to get him the day off instead of have him come off the bench in the 8th?
His return to play, he was going to get a day. So, and at all costs, like in that, I'm trying to stay away from him. But the reality is we get to the bottom of the 8th in a tie game and the situation is there, like we're trying to win the game. So You're striking that balance. So he ended up playing an inning and an at bat. So I kind of look at that as a day off.
Okay.
But as we build him here, I want to be mindful. He's had soft tissue things happen to him over the years. And part of that is, right now I want to stay away from that 5, 6, 7 in a row, like get him to that point. And hopefully, post All-Star break, we're in a good situation and we kind of roll.
That is there. So there is a get him to that point where he's, every day out there center field. I didn't know if the injury history and the position would maybe lean towards probably never going to get to that point and always going to try to find him like a day a week.
Yeah. Like this road trip, like I probably won't play him all 6, probably have 1 in there and, just be mindful of this build up. So we start now into the break 13 in a row. So, he'll probably have a couple in there where, he's down.
Okay.
How do you choose the days? Is it breaking up by days? Because my brain would want you to choose sit him on like a cold day or a
sit him on a cold day.
Yeah, well, Clark and Sevy are giving up tons of fly balls every game, like tons of fly balls.
But Gerrit's a fly ball pitcher.
True, but he also can get a strikeout pretty
And
easily.
Jim, you also missed it. You sit him the last Oakland game so he can revenge series in St. Louis. I mean, come on, you got to go past the
okay.
numbers.
But it's
maybe he wants
more,
to hang out with old friends in St. Louis, and
it'll
go
be
out of
more
town.
based on when I want him. Are there certain days I definitely want him out there? And then, piecing it around who else is getting an off day, what pitcher are we facing? So you kind of look ahead like, this is a good day to have him down and plug in whoever.
Yeah, that was what I was more going to ask. Like, there's so many factors, but with center field and his abilities out there, for me, that trumps any offensive matchup. We have seen that in 2018, Andujar didn't play third base for CeCe because CeCe got tons of ground balls, and that trumped the offensive matchups of that. It was just like basically, who was it? Was it Neil Walker was playing third when CeCe pitched down the stretch? For me, I'd try to find, and I don't know the stats, and whoever's going to let up the least amount of fly balls or team or whatever, because he's a difference.
Yes, but that definitely factors in. Yes.
Okay. I got a quick one on Cole because I was actually impressed. John Flaherty on the call, he picked it up instantly. And it's the old starting pitching adage. You don't have your A, 5 games a year you have your A stuff, 5 games a year you don't have it, and everything in the middle you figure it out. Cole, for Gerrit Cole, he didn't have his A stuff, and he battled really well against an amazing Texas Rangers lineup. Do you guys recognize that? And, is it a conversation in the dugout? Is it like, holy, how are we going to help get Gerrit through this? Or is it, do you hope it clicks the next inning? How does that go on your guys' end?
Yeah, I mean, sure, you notice that kind of stuff. Although I would disagree a little bit. I thought stuff-wise he was pretty good. And I thought, shape of his slider, I thought was really good. They beat him to some spots on some decently well-located fastballs that got hit. In that first inning where he ends up throwing about 26 pitches, maybe, I actually thought he executed well. He hung a pitch right out of the gate to Simeon. Yeah. And within the at-bat, I thought he made a lot of good pitches. And then 2 strikes, he hung the slider. It's double down the line. And then I thought he executed against Seager, gets the slider, jams him, gets it up a little bit where he wanted to. And, Seager did a good job of just fighting it off and kind of blooping it into center. And then he kind of, after some long battles, gets through that inning. But, they got to some fastballs, in some spots that I think he wanted to go, whether it's by selling out, looking for a certain thing, and connecting. But I thought stuff-wise, and I think looking back even, he was pretty in line with when he's got the good stuff.
Okay. I mean, you're not going to walk up to Cole and be like, hey, it looks like this pitch is a little flat today, pitch around it. It's kind of up to him and the catcher or Blake. I mean, would you even say a pitcher of his level, is there any conversations where you guys could go be like, hey, maybe stop throwing this? Feels like it's his game.
Yeah. I mean, you all have a real good feel of that within the game. And Gerrit's very interactive during the game. He's very talkative. He's easy to talk to. He's intense, but he's easy to talk to, and he works through different things. And, very rarely do you eliminate something because you didn't throw a good one or two. But you certainly, I think, and the better question for pitchers is, I think you're aware of what you have a pretty decent feel for. And that's
ever been a time where you had to go to the catcher and kind of sneakily be like, hey, let's not call that pitch anymore. You don't want to go to the pitcher, but you got
I do that occasionally. But more that's, Blake and the pitcher and the catcher and Blake and I talking, and, some of my thoughts get in there from that way. But, there was a game, probably a couple games ago where I went to Higgy and said, well, let's stay away from that pitch repeatedly to that guy in that situation. So that happens rarely, but for the most part, the pitching, they handle it and handle it well.
When you pinch hit as Waldo and then Bochy went to the bullpen, did you give a fist pump? Gotcha. I'm sending up the lefty killer Higgy. Was that a move to force a move, or everything's reactionary? You can brag if you want to say you set up Bochy. We'll allow it.
No, we were kind of prepared for however went down. And, certainly we're okay with the Higgy matchup when they brought the lefty in there, but we were prepared for whatever.
That's a spot where you have a righty. You got Donaldson on the bench. You're giving him a day, giving him a couple days. And the next day you have the conversation with Donaldson that leads into the press conference, which, you get the reporters sitting around with just tapping their pens. They're gonna start making some fun stories and spin some yarn. What happened there? I mean, is it just a conversation that went too long? A conversation about?
I mean, I've seen some things like we cleared the air, and like it's nothing like that at all. It was just weird timing, and so I get it. He came in. We were going to talk, and he came in. And he'll do that, where he'll come into my office and just, kind of talk baseball, talk whatever. And this was one of those cases on the heels of a couple days off where I was kind of working through that. So we were talking a little bit about that, but it wasn't a clearing of the air. It was just the timing. It spilled right into my press conference. And I felt like it was important, stuff we're just talking about, which a lot was just baseball stuff, and it carried over. So I understand the weight. I get it. But it was not a lot. It wasn't as juicy as everyone would like it to be.
There's got to be some juice to it though, right? I mean, he's an MVP. He's a vet, has a amazing career as a hitter. And he's sitting, I think, for the first time ever, 3 games in a row or whatever it was. He said it was his first time. There's got to be a little bit of juice, like, just explaining the situation, seeing his level of fire about it. It's got to go into decisions.
Yeah, but we talked about it a little bit the day before, and really it came to, don't want to give him that third day or get him back in there into an off day where we're going to the West Coast. So it was kind of just as simple as that. I deliberated on it for a couple hours actually on Saturday evening, just which way do I want to go? Do I want to get him back in there today? And I just, in the end, just decided I was going to wait, get through the off day. So,
and the pinch hit, is he gearing up to pinch hit there, or is he off? Like he's got the day off when Higgy does get the call versus the lefty?
On Sunday? Or
wasn't he available
on Friday?
Yeah, the Oswaldo, and then Higgy comes in.
Yeah. No, I was going to go Higgy there because Higgy's in the game, and then I still have Donaldson later, especially if they get into a lefty Will Smith situation, which I went to at that time, and a Bader,
Do you know that every time Donaldson is homered, the team has lost? Do you think there's any correlation there?
That's coincidence.
We think so too.
Yes.
Boone, I've got a little game for you, a little Pavlov, 4-2 homestand, against a couple good teams. So Pavlov's dog. I got a little something for you. We've seen some young pitchers perform this year, so I want to do a little flash forward, and it's the playoffs, and who knows who's healthy, who's available by the end of the year. But let's say these 3 young pitchers are healthy, and you have to use them. One gets a high leverage inning, high leverage playoff inning. One is in like a long relief appearance, keep the game kind of close or either way. And one we'll table it for next year. Johnny Brito, Randy Vasquez, and Luis Gil, if everyone's healthy and pitching. So, who do you think stuff would tick up? Who do you think could get you through 2-3 innings, and who, let's circle back in 24?
I don't like that question.
Okay.
I think with Luis, we're probably, just because he's not back yet, or, it's not imminent or anything, we'll push that to 24. But in Johnny and Vasquez, I think both guys, it's been encouraging to see them come up here, and even as they've gone through things this year in their continued development, where they've had some ups and downs in the minor leagues, they've had ups and downs here. Even they've also come up here and performed and been, kind of fearless, and you can get a little bit of a glimpse of their ability and their talent and their work. I think so. I think you throw them both in the same bucket that they could, in a big, certain situation, play a role for you on either level. So that's not a great answer for you.
Okay.
But I feel like you could throw both those guys could both be in that conversation potentially.
Change up guy, curveball guy. Sure. Okay.
Canley's been awesome. Have you been excited being able to call him in and let him go to work?
Yes, it has been. He's been really good. I feel like he keeps getting better even. From his first outing, that was a little, even though he gave up no runs, it was great. But to like the second one, a little bit better to the point of now, I feel like he's in a really good spot. And, we've been able to kind of build him up too. And, he's had maybe two games now where he's gone back to back. So, but we've also been able to protect him too and make sure we're, being mindful of a guy that missed much of 2 years, came back, and we loved what we saw at the end of last year with how he was throwing with the Dodgers. But I've been really excited about how well Tommy's done here, especially the last week to 10 days.
I have trivia for you. I have two options.
Okay.
You as a player trivia or you as a manager trivia?
Yeah, let's go player.
Player. All right. So you're going to the Coliseum. Do you think the guys are going to enjoy playing in front of no fans?
You know what? We actually usually get a little bit of more fans here than the normal. So hopefully that's the case. So it always feels a little more, there's something about Oakland that, I like coming here. It's so different, and and their fan base when we're here is they're usually out in force a little bit, and they're a different fan base, man. They're raucous. They love the A's. There'll always be a lot of Yankee fans there too. So, I in a way kind of like playing here. And
the
they
fans
always
that
play
do show up are awesome. They're diehard fans. I always say that because I lived there for a while. I'm trying to find it. You have one home run in the Coliseum?
One?
One home run in the Coliseum. You didn't play there a lot.
Yeah. Dan Heron.
It's a good
That
one.
was easy.
That's a good one.
Okay. Well, do you know anything else? That's 1 point. You get a point for, do you know the count?
No.
It was,
I know it was a day game down the line.
It was 1-2 pitch.
Split?
But you fouled one off.
Split or a
Fourth pitch of the
changeup?
at-bat.
Probably a split or a changeup, maybe.
Runner on first. So what? You were with the Indians.
Cleveland. Yes.
Dan Heron. He got rocked that day. Is there a pitcher? There's a famous clip of what is the tennis player who admits that he had a tell on his opponent. What is that? Because the other guy would put his tongue out when he yeah. Is there any pitcher right now that you would like to say, hey, you did this your whole career, that's why I hit you well?
I was not good at that. Matter of fact, my first couple of times against Randy Johnson, like I had decent games against him, and then I had a game where they said, hey, if you see this, it's this. So I had his pitches a couple of times, and it actually messed me up, like how I got ready. So because I was watching that, and then I'm like, oh, I know it's coming, but I didn't make my move or whatever. So he got me one time. Brad Radke did something one game in the Metrodome, I remember, and it was very clear to me. And it definitely helped me. That's one of the only ones I remember where I was, on a tell or on a tip. These guys
you weren't looking for him?
Like I didn't, like not, especially not at the level guys do now. I mean, guys, really work overtime on is such a big part of the game. But no, I didn't a lot at all.
in the dugout, is there a like limit? Like, all right, so say you say, hey, this guy, I got him. Someone comes running up to the coaches, or you overhear them talking to each other. The hitters say, his hands when they're up and then down to his chest, it's slower. That's a fastball. Is there a limit where like, are you sure? Like, you better not bring this information out unless you're positive, because then you're gonna go fuck everyone up.
No, I wouldn't say it's
not like as a manager. Does
the
that
way
police
you
itself?
described it. It's not really anything close to that or akin to that. Guys might go in and have a little idea. Some guys are very good at picking up small little things. Some guys aren't and can't do certain things. Some guys do some things occasionally, and some guys want that occasional or don't want it at all because it's occasional. So everyone's so different. And there's levels of guys that are capable of picking it up or not.
All right, on the manager side, because I have it up and I'm not going to bring this up again. This is a weird page of Baseball Reference.
Yeah.
Would you say that you are above average or below average as a manager this season in pitchers used per game?
Pitchers per game.
It's like OPS plus the way they have it. So you're either above 100 or below 100.
Pitchers per game. I'll say above average.
Exactly average. I greened you. You should have. You had to bet green on that one. You're 100. I thought you're below average beforehand, but that's before the DH. So I think all AL managers were below.
Oh, okay.
You ever looked at this, Stiff? I can tell you how many sack bunts you have a game, intentional walks.
No.
Wild.
Yeah, I know we only have 4 intentional walks, maybe.
Oh, you do know
or
that.
One.
This says one.
One. We're the lowest. That's right. One.
Who was it?
Who did we intentionally walk? I don't know.
I had a big note because there's been like 5 times. Once a year you have intentionally walked the same guy twice in a game. Every year you've done this once. So you need to find a game this year and intentionally walk the same guy twice. Maybe
really?
Randy Rosarena. Just let him have his way.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, we got some runway to do it still.
Anything else, Jake? Did I miss anything?
I think that's about it for now. Nice little roadie. We'll see you next Tuesday. Times will be high.
Let's go.
Do it again next week.
Good to see y'all. Have a good week.
That Bantering with Boone was brought to you by Vizio. Referenced it earlier. Boone hopped on and was hot. In the best way. In the like.
He's jazzed up.
Yes, jazzed up is the perfect word. Like meeting up with your buddies for the start of a weekend and kind of coming in hot. And I think the roots of that, we found out his bag got lost for a little bit, which I think changed up his plans while he was in San Francisco.
He's like gonna join the fellas on an excursion.
Yeah, it sounded like he was gonna go a little wine country, and that got bagged. And then he was also running hot and almost like arm around the shoulders, walking us through the most recent Judge media stuff that I think all of us were kind of sitting here like, are we on the same team right now? I think we are.
Yeah.
So that was funny. What did we learn?
We got a bit of a more firm game plan on Rodon. So that's exciting.
Yeah, he kind of teased that they wanted to do.
It's a little bit like what everyone was predicting, but we find out about the 2 more pitches, which is funny.
The 2 pitches is wild.
And he loved it.
He loved it. And I can't tell if that was a Jakey ironic love or what that was, but he loved it. I think the biggest piece of cheese he did drop there was the that they would, because that's kind of what I was wondering about Rodon and coming back, was the start before the All-Star break, which they've been aiming for. But he kind of alluded to that he would, if things go well, that he would be first game back too. So it's almost like they're viewing it as get Rodon built up. We kind of wondered if they'd give him the start and then almost give him 10 days, but I think they're, and probably rightfully so, viewing it as get him the start, 75 pitches going into the All-Star break, and then he can essentially, with 1 or 2 days extra rest, start the first game back.
Yeah, did we get like when the next game is? I think it got said, not necessarily on there. Trying to do some math.
I know the date everyone's had circled is July 5th, but
Yes.
I almost would want to back count. And by the way, this final Rodon Watch segment is brought to you by Bird Dogs. Bird Dogs. That's right. 2 animals, 1 pair of shorts. Comfortable. Make you look good. Is that not what you want from your clothing? I think it is. And for me, I'm a big comfort guy. And Bird Dogs, they are my travel day clothes. I go out. I go to the brew pub in my Bird Dogs. I go to the game in my Bird Dogs. I've worked out in my Bird Dogs. They may be the most versatile shorts in the game. Prime, DJ. Go to birddogs.com/Yanks and you'll get a free Yeti-style tumbler. So your legs will be feeling good. Your drinks will be feeling good. Gerd. Make sure you go to birddogs.com/Yanks. I'm almost at an old man point in life. A little teaser. I'm not sure when it's coming up, but we're partnering with my favorite underwear company. Ooh. And I'm thinking about just going straight up them and then Bird Dogs for my shorts, like kind of for life. So that's where I'm at there. With Rodon, so BBD, I think this is where we can cook the books. And Jom had to go. He has a new baby, if you haven't heard.
Some appointments associated.
Wanted to ask Boone if he had any going from 1 kid to 2 kids question, but it didn't seem like him or Jimmy were up for that, so we'll do that another time. I think we can reverse engineer this. Oh, shoot, the Yankees open at Colorado? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That stinks. But let's say they give Rodon the first start, which would be July 14th.
Mm-hmm. And Boone, when we asked about him and gave the update, he said that Baltimore-Chicago area.
Which makes me think
they're aiming for the 6th.
It makes me think they're aiming for Chicago.
Yeah, puts it into the head.
Because July 14th, if he pitches against Baltimore, that would be a lot of extra rest. That kind of gets up to that
like too much
10-day area that if I was a betting man, and I have been, I would almost say like that Saturday game against Chicago.
Yeah, my birthday, it's whatever.
Because then you go 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th.
That would be
so that's one extra day, 85 pitches or so. So that's my current bet. I guess sound off in the comments what you guys think will be Rodon's bet. Yankee fans, I think, would be slightly disappointed in that because they think they're aiming for the 5th.
Has been beaten into us.
But
yeah, 5, 6, 7, or 8 seem like the candidates. If he did a rehab Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Friday would be 5 days, but maybe if it's back-to-back, 6 days and a 7.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. But man, I know. You know, me and Jim sometimes our glasses half full and empty can be interesting, and it's still a huge if. But you know, the Rodon ifs are crazy. The guy, we'll see how much he gets involved. It's from let's see if he gets involved in this season a chunk to like this guy could be one of the best starters in baseball the rest of the way. But again, the pitching hasn't been too much of the problem, although starting pitching hasn't been perfect. All right. I almost asked for a Nestor update.
Yeah, there's been a little bit
pretty
nothing.
Quiet.
We should be around the end of like his no-throw period, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's
I guess
earmarked for next week.
On Friday, Boone said a week away from throwing off a mound.
Okay.
So
has he done flat ground stuff?
Throwing from 75 feet a week ago. and 1 week from mound work half a week ago. So I don't know, maybe trade deadline-ish, late July.
Back.
We're all guessing. Hey, thank you guys. Sorry we didn't get into a wrestling match with Boone this time. We will be back Thursday afternoon, Thursday early evening as the Oakland series winds down. So
might not be quite as immediately after. Might also be normal on your end.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think we'll be good. So thank you guys. Let's go Yanks. Tell them Jimmy's grandma.
Go Yankees.
Kind of occurred to me the other day, just Yanks haven't had a lefty in the rotation. Rodon's Nestor both out.
Don and Nestor.